Hi, and welcome to another episode of Understanding. I'm Craig Biddle. Today, I want to talk about two simple ideas that would change the world if more people embraced them. And they are simply this: be for human flourishing and against human sacrifice. Be for human flourishing and against human sacrifice. What do I mean by these? Well, what is human flourishing? It's human beings living to the fullest of their potential, to the full capacity that they have in them to live as the kinds of beings they are. What kind of being are we? Well, we're the kind of being who has a rational faculty and an emotional faculty. And both of these things are extremely important. We need our reasoning faculty to understand what things are, what our needs are, and how we can act in order to satisfy those needs. And we need our emotional faculty so that we can enjoy and experience the values that we pursue and achieve, whether they're material values or spiritual values. So, we need food, clothing, and shelter and all of that, but we also need purpose and meaning and self-esteem and love and the values that we get from art and all of that rich and enriching spiritual fuel. So we're this kind of animal that has these two mental faculties that we need to have working together. And I'll talk more about reason and emotion in another video. But for now, just suffice it to say that these are the essential aspects of our mental capacities as human beings. We can think and we can feel, and we want both of these things to work together. And a flourishing human life is what we have when we're using these things correctly, when we're treating reason as our means of knowledge and we're treating our emotional faculty as our psychological means of experiencing our values. And then we pursue the values that actually serve and support our lives. So we go after a career that we love so that we can get the material values, including money and things that we can trade with other people. We go after the spiritual values that we need, friendships and romance and the kinds of recreational activities and art that we love to engage in. And this is what it means to be for human flourishing. It's to be for flourishing in your own right as an individual in your life, and to advocate this for everyone. We want everyone to live a beautiful life, and that's what human life should be. It's what human beings can do if we live at the fullest capacity of our nature. And so that's what human flourishing is. And then to be against human sacrifice, the other side of the coin that I mentioned at the beginning, is to be against everything that stops us from flourishing. To be against giving up things that are more important for flourishing for the sake of things that are less important for flourishing, right? And this is what a sacrifice is. It's the giving up of a greater value in relation to your life for the sake of a lesser value in relation to your life. And people do this all the time. You can do it, sort of inadvertently, just by not taking your life seriously and thinking about what's more important to you. Or you can do it if you've accepted a moral code that tells you you should do it, like the moral code of altruism. Altruism meaning the moral code that stands for otherism, the idea that you should selflessly serve others. That's what altruism is all about. So you should give up the things that would make your life wonderful and beautiful and instead serve others at a net loss to yourself. Well, that's ridiculous. Why do that? Why not encourage instead everyone to pursue the values that will make his or her life beautiful? Why not all of us live wonderful lives by having a policy of no one sacrificing to anyone for any reason at all? That's what it means to be against human sacrifice. You're against sacrificing yourself for the sake of others. You're against sacrificing others for your own sake. You're against others sacrificing other people. You're against government sacrificing people. You're against groups sacrificing people. Human sacrifice is a bad thing. It's a bad thing in all instances. That's why it's called human sacrifice. It's giving up. It's attacking what it means for human beings to live as human beings. So these two simple ideas, if we could, and there's much more that can be said about them, but if people would just embrace the idea, hey, let's be for human flourishing. Let's think about what are the things and the actions and the policies and the institutions that are necessary for human beings to live as human beings, to be able to make their own decisions about what they want to do in life, to plan their lives, to trade with others voluntarily insofar as people want to engage with each other, to not force people to act in ways that they don't want to act and that are against their self-interest, right? That leaves open the ability for us to all flourish. And then to be against the idea of human sacrifice of any kind or form. There's no need for human sacrifice. It's just evil to sacrifice human beings. Just like it was evil for the Aztecs and the Mayans to, pull the hearts out of children and sacrifice children to, on the altar to alleged gods, it's wrong for you to sacrifice today because, well, your family says that you should do this if you're going to be a good boy or whatever. That's just all bullshit. Sacrifice is bad. It's bad for your life. It's bad for other people's lives. It's bad for anybody's life. And if people want you to do things, they shouldn't ask you to sacrifice. They should say, well, here's why doing the thing in the way that I'm suggesting might be better for you. And then you can think about it and decide whether or not you want to do that. And that makes sense. But this business of human sacrifice has got to come to an end. It is just a prehistoric kind of philosophy. It's just a caveman philosophy that people should be sacrificed for the sake of others. So think about this, share the idea with your friends, talk about it, see if you can poke holes in the idea. If this doesn't sound plausible to you, think about it. Why not just have a policy of, hey, let's figure out what human life requires and go after that, and let's repudiate all things that attack that, all things that constitute giving up or sacrificing the values on which human life depends. And I think if we all did this, we'd just live in a much more wonderful world, and we'd certainly live better lives ourselves. Hope you found this interesting. Please share it with your friends. Also, please like the channel and let me know if you have any questions or want me to address anything in particular on future episodes of Understanding. Till next week, keep loving your life.